Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition, another episode here of the PondCast. The PondCast, episode 69, your weekly dose, your weekly wrap-up show of all things StarCraft. I'm, of course, just VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing people in the chats, and by, of course, Kuro handling the production. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Whew. And we are here, we are back. There's a lot to get into. First things first, of course, do apologize for not having a broadcast this morning or last night. Did miss out on 2 broadcasts, but of course, that is because we, of course, had a birthday. Did have a birthday yesterday, of course, and as a result, did decide to take a day off from casting. Did decide to take some time off instead. But now it's time to get back into the swing of things with all things StarCraft. Let's go, baby, let's go. As up first, we do have our news for the week. Up first, we do have once again Basilisk releasing another video. This time of Seoul. For those who remember, last week Raynor, he had an in-depth analysis of one of Seoul's games. Of Seoul in his own ZVP matchup against Hero. Here we have Seoul analyzing his own game against Hero Marine. So it is really cool to hear his thoughts, to hear his thought process as well. I would say that I'm a little bit... It would have been great to have heard Seoul's kind of thought process in some of the other matches, in some of the other series. Here he breaks down his matchup against Hero Marine, which I think was a little bit more straightforward here. But I mean, we were able to get a little bit more in depth into his thought process, into his explanation, into his decision making as well. So regardless, it is really cool to see some of this, and I hope to see more of this in the future. Right? It's like in my mind, I'm a little bit concerned that we might only just get one video from Raynor and one video from Seoul. We might get a video from Trigger as well. But I hope this becomes more of a regular thing, where every now and then we get to see some extra content made from Basilisk, making use of their more analytical mind from the side of Seoul, Trigger, and Raynor. I think it's really cool, and I mean, if it does well, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of this in the future. Again, if you're maybe struggling a little bit in the ZVT matchup, I do recommend checking out the VOD and checking out the video here of Seoul going through his series against Gabe. So do recommend it. At the end, it's really cool to see Basilisk just pushing and creating content for the players even more and more as time goes on. And I hope that they continue to do this, and I hope that other teams do follow suit and take up this mantle as well. I think the closest that we've seen is Shopify. I'd love to see more content made from Team Liquid and from some of these other teams as well, like even Onside. We'll see. Speaking of team content and speaking of Onside, up next we do have news regarding Onside. Onside and Team Liquid specifically. So Team Liquid, they're going to be sponsoring a StarCraft 2 show match. It's going to be an SG show match featuring multiple different players, but the headlining duo is going to be Cure versus Maru. That's going to be on the 1st of November in a couple of days. It's going to be in a couple of days' time over the weekend. It is going to be a show match, a TVT show match between Cure and Maru, but not just that, there are going to be some other show matches as well, including some VTubers. Let's go. And other personalities. Basically, it's like a streamer match. I believe this is going to be on Chijik. I believe this is sponsored by Naver. Like, I think Naver, they're like organizing and running it, and obviously sponsored by Team Liquid as well. But again, I believe it's going to be streamed over on the Chijik platform. It would make sense just because they're in organization with Naver themselves, and that's why CranKy is getting involved, of course. So it is really cool to see. Again, there's going to be some pro StarCraft, some more amateur StarCraft as well. That's why they're inviting other personalities, like some VTubers, like some other Korean streamers as well. I would not be surprised if these streamers were involved in their previous Chijik kind of big, like, fun show match event where they had like streamers versus streamers. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that these were also involved in that as well. And I believe CranKy is going to be covering the event, casting it in Korean, of course. So CranKy is going to be like the main kind of like showcase, or he's going to be the main like host, I should say, the host and caster for the show match. And yeah, it's just really cool to see that Naver, Chijik, and I guess even Team Liquid stepping in as well are starting to run these events and starting to put a little bit more of a limelight on these, especially in Korea, right? Like, for a long time, like, Korean StarCraft, I feel like hasn't been getting too much love, but in recent times, especially, I mean, thanks to Crank and thanks to Chijik, they have been hosting more tournaments and really kind of spreading their wings a little bit by incorporating other content creators, other streamers, other VTubers as well, and kind of exposing StarCraft to these greater audiences. It's really cool. It's really cool. I feel like it's almost like a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, like, this sort of stuff should be happening more often, and it's really cool to see that it is. What this is casted in English, I don't think so, at least not currently. Once again, if this is streamed on Tijik, and because of Naver being one of the main sponsors and organizers, in my mind at least, it would make sense for this to be only live streamed on Tijik, even if there was an English stream. We might be able to get some replays afterwards to be able to show off the series later via replays, but otherwise it'll be focused and covered in Korean. So bear that in mind. But really cool to see that Team Liquid and Onside / Team Vitality, they're running and organizing and helping to sponsor a said event. So it's really cool to see. And again, that's going to be in a couple of days' time. Best of luck. There's going to be a signing event as well, of course, with Cure, with Mara. So if you happen to be local, if you happen to be in Korea, then do consider checking it out. The other big event, speaking of Korea, is the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League. We already spoke about how tickets were being sold to at least patrons, as patrons did have on their Patreon, did have early access. Now, I believe we are having those tickets being sold to everyone. Here we go. We do have links, standard tickets and premium tickets as well. Tickets for the offline finals. Remember, RSL Season 3, we just had the qualifiers not too long ago. Season 3 will be taking place over the course of November, and then the offline finals will be in December. This is going to be basically inviting the top performing players from Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3 all to that offline event in Korea. It is really cool to see. We already saw photos of the venue itself. I believe they've hosted tournaments in said venue before. It is, I think, in Gangnam as well. Not the Afrika studio. I believe it is a different studio nearby. But regardless, really cool to see that, again, there's already some experience at least at the venue. I'm sure they're going to be just hiring said production people that work at the studio as well to work on the event. And best of luck. It's not easy to run an offline tournament, so there's going to be a lot of work going behind the scenes. Best of luck to Gemini and to State, to all those working behind the scenes to make that event a reality. And again, it is coming in December. It's right around the corner. We're almost done with 2025. So yeah, the tickets are available. If you happen to be in Korea at the time, then do consider going, of course. It's a great way to celebrate StarCraft and come together, of course, as well. So tickets are now being sold. They're now being sold. Likewise, on a bit of a side note, I believe voting for who will be a part of RSL Season 3, voting for the patron, is also open as well. That is also currently open, so make sure you vote if you happen to be a Patreon on who you want to be a part of the tournament. Up next, we do have some massive news regarding the StarCraft miniatures game. With Archon Studios, there was an interview. There was an interview conducted on Wargamer, and it was a pretty interesting interview as well. I think myself, and maybe a lot of people included, assumed that this was going to be like a one-off sort of thing, where it's like, oh, okay, it's going to be a miniatures game. It's going to have a rule set. They're going to release it, and that's going to be that, right? And it'll be fun. It'll be really cool. But what we're hearing in this interview is that it looks like they plan on actually holding on to this IP, holding on to this game, and actually pushing it and promoting it and actually releasing more content over the years, in reference to either expansion packs or just adding units to the game. It's really ambitious, is what I will say. To be fair, I'm not too familiar with too many miniatures games out there, except for, I guess, like the Lord of the Rings miniatures games, or Warhammer, of course, Warhammer and Warhammer 40k. They're these big franchises that do release more sets, and they release more rule sets as well over the years. Like Warhammer has been going for a very, very long time, of course. Like that is like the pinnacle, the peak of miniatures games. Of course, there are other smaller ones like surrounding it as well. But this feels quite ambitious. It feels quite similar to that, where they're releasing the base core game, and it sounds like they plan on releasing more models, more unique units with their own unique rule sets as well. Potentially, again, like expansions with other like full sets and newer armies to keep this going. I would say it's ambitious just because they spoke about this roadmap that they have for the next 9 years of supporting this miniatures game. How big is the audience going to be for this? Like in general, like miniatures games of this scale are very niche. They're very niche, and Warhammer have the monopoly. So trying to get into that ecosystem, trying to break into that kind of niche and scene, and get people playing like a new miniatures game that it doesn't sound like it's going to be as expensive as Warhammer. Don't get me wrong, but something that's is going to be earning enough to actually validate the idea of being supported for X many years, at least in the eyes of Blizzard. That to me at least does feel quite ambitious. I hope it does do well. Would I be willing to get involved? Like, I've got plenty of places nearby that do support this sort of stuff where you can go there and play these miniatures games, and they have like all these tables and stuff set up. Maybe, you know what? Maybe, you know what? Maybe I might. This might be my gateway drug into that sort of thing. Especially, of course, if this is more affordable than Warhammer. And of course, it's an IP that I'm very fond of, that I have a lot of love for as well. But yeah, again, the word that I said, I keep repeating. It's ambitious. It's very ambitious here, and I hope that it does well. Right? I hope that it does catch on. And I mean, there's a lot of photos released of like examples of the models themselves, and look really cool. They look really cool. The models, the zealots. I feel like Protoss especially, they got a lot of love. Like like showing like shields attached to the miniatures as well, to kind of show like what it would be like if they were attacked, or the look of like the translucent archons and all that. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of attention to detail there. There's a lot of love, 100%, to the models themselves. Yeah, I hope that it does catch on. I hope that it does catch on. I hope that there is a strong audience for it that's able to, justify, releasing new units and releasing more expansions and releasing new rule sets and all this stuff for the game. I hope that it's able to be successful, just because it sounds like at least the people behind it, when it comes to Archon Studio, are very passionate about it, right? Like, they're very passionate about the games that they work on, but they're very passionate about StarCraft itself as well. So it feels, yeah, I hope that they're able to find success there for sure. And yeah, you know what, I might step into the realm of like miniature gaming,
I will
if they
say,
decide to go that far.
from what I understood, they said that there will be like this, like, big scale games, but I think they're supposed to be like big scale games, but they are also supposed to be like skirmish games, so like a smaller scale. So basically, you need your starter set, and basically you can just play games with that. So there is a way to be involved without spending like millions on like huge armies and stuff. Like they don't plan it exactly like Warhammer.
Yeah, something that has yet to be fully revealed is price sets, right? Is price sets, and whether they plan on releasing like for Warhammer, for example, you can like drop $100 on like a set of 6 Zerglings, like for example, right? Like, are they willing to are they going to be selling like units separately like that, or just in full sets and full armies like we're seeing here? Like, that has yet to be fully revealed. So we don't really yet know like the price model of how this is going to be.
We don't know the prices yet, but I know that at launch they're supposed to be releasing a starter pack like for the entire like game, which is like Terran versus Zerg, and you get just entire thing like Terran versus Zerg.
Yeah. Like, the starter set is we already know what's coming with that, but like, I don't know if they're going to be selling individual like squads of units, or if they sell like specific armies and stuff like that. Like, we'll see. We'll be able to compare with said Warhammer, see how affordable it is, see how accessible it is as well. And yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting kind of foray into the miniature scene that I'm very interested in. And again, like, the temptation to get into Warhammer was always there, but of course the price point is a big kind of like hurdle to get over. If the StarCraft version is more affordable, then I'd be more than happy to like maybe get involved. But we'll see. We shall see. Again, very ambitious. Do wish him the best, of course, as well. And yeah, definitely exciting things to come. Also, I was kind of vague about it. I do recommend checking out and reading the interview yourselves. What is really exciting is the idea of them creating models of units that don't exist in the base game. I'm sure a lot of StarCraft fans, even hardcore fans, are mainly, fans of the RTS, and maybe they read the comics that were released. If you remember, they had comics that were attached to the war chest that were released a while back. So that was a little bit more accessible because you could actually access that through the game, and through the esports side of things. But like, there was StarCraft Illusion, there were books. Like, there were books that were revealed as well. There were other like side comic lines that expanded the universe of the game. And what I'm getting at is that apparently there are some units in those games, or sorry, there are units in the books, there are units in the comics that were never shown in either Brood War or StarCraft 2 that they're willing to like create models of and actually
Yeah,
bring
like there
to
are
life
different
in the
versions of the
miniatures.
models.
Yeah, and the most exciting thing is that they were like, hey, we want to maybe make a separate army for the Zerg plus hybrids for the hybrid army, which is interesting just because in the game hybrid units are very limited. Like they're in co-op, of course, and they're there, but there's not that much variety. Like there's no like worker units for the hybrids, or there's no like lesser units as well. Like there's like three different. I want to say there's like three different like hybrid models in StarCraft 2. But for them to like try to expand on that through the books and through the comics and add more units to that and to actually have an army, to have a quote unquote fourth race, is again, it's really cool, is really ambitious, and I hope that they're able to make that dream like become a reality and make that come to fruition.
I will say that Subsarian is a big part of the Discord right now. He's been commenting on a lot of stuff, so if anything is inaccurate, he will point it out. But also, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a bunch of people actually who have been posting photos from the convention, as well as there's a person called Easy Board Games who actually did like a short interview with one of the people from Archon, talking more about the rules of the game. So if you want to check that out, that video is also available. That said, they did mention that there will still be changes to the rules and some like core changes. So this is like not the final version of the game. And they still have, as they mentioned before, they still have like one more meeting with the Blizzard executives, like I think in like 2 weeks or something, and they still have to like confirm the final version of the game. So keep that in mind. But there is like a preview of what is to come.
Yeah, exactly. So there are videos out there. We're seeing more and more of this, and definitely exciting things to come in regards to what the miniatures game will be. As was said, like the rule set is not fully finalized yet, but it's on the horizon. Like it soon will be as well. So really exciting stuff in regards to that, and yeah, really cool to see, more attention being given to this. Another kind of like side note is that we did hear, at least from Archon Studios, that them working with Blizzard has been very smooth. Of course, remember, this is also a Blizzard that they're working with, which is post Microsoft acquirement as well. But apparently, like they've been very easygoing, and they've been very accepting of like any changes that want to be made. Like they've not kind of been as hands-on as other game developers that they've worked with in the past. We have heard like quote unquote like issues in the past that they had with when it came to kind of how restrictive the publisher was in regards to, was it Mind Magic? Mind Magic was the previous one that they worked with, and they also, and again the publisher was very hands-on, and they were very restrictive, and there were some limitations as a result of that. But it feels like here, for at least the StarCraft miniatures game, Blizzard, they're a little bit more hands-off and a little bit more willing to like kind of let them do what they want, which is really cool. To hear, at least.
I like the way they phrased it, where apparently the first like meeting, the proper meeting they had with the executives, like they told them like they are not specialists in miniatures, they know how to do miniatures, so they just basically left the decisions to them on how to make the miniatures. Like they just making sure that like it fits into StarCraft, but like as far as miniatures, like they know better.
Yeah, for sure. So it is really cool to hear that interactions and that kind of dynamic and that relationship is going well between Archon Studio and Blizzard. Is really nice to hear. So yeah, for sure. Also, Ragnar saying in chat that there are 4 models, actually. Well, there you go. There are currently like 4 models in game of like hybrid units. But again, the idea of them introducing even more to actually facilitate for a proper army of hybrid units is really cool to hear. Otherwise, we do have. I was talking about hybrid work. I mean, there's no like SCV, there's no drone. Like, I don't think workers are a part of the miniatures game. I was just kind of bringing that up. But like, just greater units and I should say, lesser units. As in, when I say lesser unit, like Zerg have the Zergling, like Terran have Marines, like the base unit. I mean, the quote unquote filler unit. I'm curious, like what they do with that, for example, because I believe there isn't that in StarCraft 2, just because they typically have more like higher scale units, if that makes any sense. But regardless, it is going to be really cool to see kind of how that progression does transpire and whether they can go for the full 9 years. I should also mention that their roadmap is at least 9 years, and it sounds like they want to push for more. Like they want to push for again an even longer lifespan for this sort of thing. But a lot of it, of course, will come down to the attention that they generate and the player base that they're able to accumulate as well. So we'll see. We shall see. Likewise, next bit news here was Zero Space.
Hold on, before we move on, one thing I did remember, I believe today or tomorrow there will be also a specific StarCraft AMA. So if you are looking for any questions to be answered, then head over to their Discord where you can ask the questions or watch the video, which is scheduled on YouTube. So if you go to the Archon Studios YouTube, you can find the AMA. And there are a lot of questions. Let me tell you, I've seen the thread.
There you go. So the AMA is available, is there. Meanwhile, we are going to be heading over to our next bit of news. That's going to be Zero Space. Zero Space, they released a video a couple of days ago going over RTS pathfinding in general. Like, it was more of a general video, and it was really cool. It was really cool to kind of see the explanation, not just of what pathfinding is, but specifically how other games utilize it. They were able to actually use Age of Empires 4 alongside StarCraft 2 and Zero Space to kind of explain and go into detail as to how each game approached pathfinding, what their approach was, what their solution was, what they settled on, and the pros and cons of each kind of system, and of kind of the back end of things as well. So it was a very technical video, but it was really cool. It was just really cool to kind of see like the three games comparison side by side, the pros, the cons, like what they do, what others do. It wasn't necessarily like trying to say that one does it poorly than another, or one does it better, one does it worse, like just showing how different they are compared to each other, specifically in the field of pathfinding. So it was really cool to see. Pathfinding meaning like unit interactions, how a unit gets from one place to another, how they collide with other friendly units, you know, how a melee unit interacts compared to a ranged unit. It was interesting to see, of course, something that we know about Age, for example, is that Age of Empires, they have a bit of a clunky system, but how they work around it is that in Age of Empires, when you select an army, you can change its formations. There's like a grid where you can be like, okay, go in like a V formation, or go into like a double like length horizontal formation, or vertical formation, and these formations, they automatically kind of like move units to be in front of each other and try to like work with that and showcasing how StarCraft is different. That was a really interesting video, not too long either. So if you're interested in the kind of the back end side of things, or how game systems work, then yeah, do check it out. And of course, it's another kind of reminder as well of like, hey, you know, Zero Space is on the horizon. Unlike Stormgate, Zero Space doesn't seem to have as much monetary issues when it comes to funding, when it comes to producing the game. They have a bit of a, things are looking a little bit more stable there. But of course, it is going to be its own game as well. It has its own direction, has its own identity, and we're still yet to see kind of what comes of that. Regardless, great to see, you know, more RTSs being worked on and coming to fruition, and yeah, we'll see kind of what comes of Zero Space as well.
I would say what I really appreciate about the video is that like you can tell that like this is not like, you know, a prepared like video by someone. Like, this is the guy who is programming this, who is talking about this video.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, it's not like too technical that you won't understand what it's about, but like this is like very specific about this is how things work, like this is how we solve this problem and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's a really nice way to kind of like do that, but also promote the game at the same time. Like, it's really nice to like, it's a nice way to do kind of both in a unique way as well. So yeah, do appreciate it. Do check out the video as well. Again, not too long, around 12 minutes long, so do check it out. Up next, the final bit of news here is going to be the SC Evolution. SC Evolution Complete Ranked Ladder Open Alpha. Now, if you recall, the ladder has been in the works for a very long time. They did have a beta version in the game for a while as well, but then they scrapped that, if you recall, not too long ago. They scrapped the ladder that they were working on. They kind of like tried to readjust and kind of rebuild it from scratch in a way, and looks like we have the alpha version of said matchmaking. When it comes to the ladder for StarCraft Evolution, it's been something that has been a big hindrance for the game, as you can imagine. Is, hey, players have been watching StarCraft Evolution, they want to play StarCraft Evolution, but the idea of joining a Discord and finding opponents, but not just that, finding opponents that are around your skill level as well, is very difficult, and it is a bit of a it's definitely a hurdle. It's definitely something that is hindering people from actually trying and playing the game mode. Just the need of finding someone, creating a custom game, hoping that you're a similar skill level to be able to enjoy and play the game. It's quite difficult. It's quite difficult, and it is, yeah, something that is kind of, it is stopping people from trying the game, from playing the game. It is hurting the player base as well. So I would say the ladder is honestly quite important, and they are taking steps here to actually create their own ladder as well. It's still gonna have that kind of it's still gonna have like a bit of a barrier to entry, as you do have to kind of be aware of kind of how to make use of it as well. I myself am not too familiar, but I do know that they're working on their own MMR system, their own ranking system as well. And yeah, wishing the best in regards to that ladder. Again, it's still alpha, like it's still very, very early in the works, but it's something that they're actively working on and trying to fix up. So, in regards to the algorithm, in regards to the MMR, in regards to a global leaderboard as well. So yeah, that is currently in the works. If you're interested in said thing, if you want to wait for it to be fully released and fully done, completely understandable. But if you're interested in getting into it early on, then do join their Discord, join the SE Evolution Discord for more details of joining and being part of the ladder of the open alpha, of said open alpha. Otherwise, that leads us into our main events here. That leads us into our main mode events. I will say that we'll be going over the CranKy Epic Series next week, or next time, as we are going to be covering that event ourselves. Big shout out to CranKy, of course. He's one of our own. He's one of the CranKy Ducklings, El Patito, of course, El Patito, and he has been hosting these events on a monthly basis. We'll be going over that next time, just because we are going to be casting that event via replays at a later date as well, just as a heads up. So we'll be getting to the CranKy Epic Series soon, TM. Up first, though, we do have the Chijik SC Evolution Mang Russell Cup. Mang Russell, of course, is a Korean player, but he has stepped into the role of actually running some tournaments here. I had to do a double take because if you remember, Prome was doing the same thing. Prome is a Korean Protoss, and Prome was also like running tournaments as well. Looks like Mang Russell has begun to do this as well. This is also limited to the Chijik platform for live streaming. We can cover it via replays after the fact, and it looks like this is going to be a bit of a greater tournament here. It's going to be lasting a couple of days. It will last from the 25th of October to the 2nd of November. Oh boy, so 4 days, apparently 4 days of play, I should say. To me to take part and to run the event. Has multiple stages, and let's get through it here and now. What's really interesting here is it looks like we have a bunch of more amateur players competing in this. I'm not entirely certain of the rule set of like what is limiting players from taking part. But yeah, looking at the signups, looking at the players here, these are not pros. They're not pro players. These are less known players instead. I see Choi Galaxy, for example. True, like we're familiar with him. He's been running some of his own tournaments. But outside of Choi Galaxy, I do not know anyone here. So I think this is really good, though. We spoke earlier about the health of StarCraft Evolution, how one of the big issues, one of the big gateways, of course, is the lack of ladder, the lack of ability to even play the game outside of the pro players that are competing and making customs amongst themselves and playing in tournaments. So it's really difficult to kind of get into StarCraft Evolution. So running a tournament like this for more amateur players, for up and coming players, to give them a chance, to give them an opportunity, and to earn some food as well, apparently. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It's really cool to see. I say food because apparently there's depending on how you perform, you can like win like a burger combo or a chicken and coffee combo for first place. Crazy. But I think that's off to the side instead. So here it says the 9th to 6th place in the main event are seeded into an 8-player single elimination bracket. Okay. So basically, the way that this works here is that we had the preliminary stage to determine the top 4 players. The top 4 players of the tournament. And that is where you can see on the right, you have the top 4 to determine the champion, right? We have 1 Terran, we have 2 Zergs, and we have Kasker as well. These are the top 4 players to determine the winners to earn the main bulk of the prize money. But there's like a consolation prize. Basically, the players that's placed highly but that did not make it into the top 4 are seeded into a separate bracket to earn some chicken burgers. Let's say to earn some food, which I appreciate. I appreciate it. And again, goes along the lines of this being a little bit more amateurish when it comes to the skill level here. But basically, there's like a lower brackets where the players that get eliminated, they can play amongst each other to earn some food, which is great. I love it. I love it. So yeah, shout out to Mang Russell, of course, for hosting, for running the event. Shout out to Chijik for sponsoring, of course, as well. And again, this is just really good for grassroots StarCraft specifically. Grassroots StarCraft Evolution, I should say. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of these players were maybe even Brood War players. And again, more like up and coming, like Diamond players, Platinum players, like Masters players. So really cool to see them taking part, and wish them the best. You know, give them a reason to improve, to compete, and maybe motivate them further to achieve greater heights. So really cool to see here from Mang Russell. That leads us into our, speaking of amateur tournaments, speaking of amateur players, that leads us into the Amateur League Weekly number 142. Of course, this is a regular weekly tournament for different skill ranges. No prize money is involved, but you can earn points to be invited at the end of the season to a tournament that does provide prize money instead. Up first, we have the Initiate Weekly, which is for those between the leagues of Bronze and Platinum. Here we had Vrog. We had Vrog actually taking it all here. He did drop a map to Mimo Mojo at the start of the tournament, took down Jackals, and did win in the rematch 3-0 over Mimo. GG. GG, well played. Rogue does claim the win, does claim the weekly. That leads us into the Veteran Edition for those between the leagues of Diamond 3 and Diamond 2. Here we have a little bit more representation, as we did have some of our regulars. I see Balimko, I see Sugarcoat II, I see Senju as well. I see Old Lady, Lauren, players that we have seen in the past, and Sugarcoat does pop off, takes down Trushaland, another player that actually competed in our tournament recently, takes down Senju, takes down Balimko, and takes down Lauren in the grand finals, went all the way to the Ace match, went all the way to game 5. Really fun, really exciting back and forth there in those finals, which Sugarcoat did barely win. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to the Sugarcoats. That leads us into the Prestige Weekly. This is for those between the leagues of Diamond 1 and Masters 2. A little more representation here. This is probably the most popular, the biggest kind of like bracket of players willing and looking to compete. Here we did have a player, Matrix, the Polish Protoss player. He does go on a tear. He takes down Milka 2-0, takes down Arez 2-1, takes down Menos 2-0, and takes down Arez in the rematch in the finals, as there was a lower bracket. Arez did fight his way all the way back up, taking down Cos Phoenix, taking down Zigger, taking down Menos as well. But congratulations to Matrix. Again, it's great to see him being active again. He was a little bit inactive for quite some time at the start of the year, but in recent times he's been much more active, playing in more tournaments, competing more, earning more, and achieving more as well. Really cool to see the return of Matrix. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Let's claim the win 3-1. That leads us into the Elite tournaments. Once again, as I mentioned before, these tournaments don't provide prize money, and a lot of the GMs and pro players aren't really interested in competing in these tournaments as a result. Azura gets a walkover win. Azura, the only player to sign up and to check in. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man, but shout out to Azura. Azura, of course, is the Italian Protoss player. He's a semi-pro, and this is going to allow him to earn points to be invited into a tournament that does provide prize money. So shout out to Azura. Let's make it through. That leads us into our next set of amateur events. That leads us into the 5.4K Patch Clash number 7. As you can imagine, the name. This is limited to those between that are below 5.4K MMR. You are allowed to off-race, bear that in mind. So that is allowed, that is available. And this is played on a new balance mod by Patches. So Patches has been working on a balance mod. He's working on his own changes, his own unique changes. They're very drastic, they're very intense, very insane. And it's definitely a lot to take in. A lot to take in. Not meant to be taken too seriously, but he has been having a lot of fun with this. And El Chanchito pops off. Pig, he takes down Berry Crunch 2-0, takes down Inexorable 2-0, takes down Mixu 2-0. Mixu off racing as Terran, of course, and takes down Kinpatch 3-1 in the finals. Esther Jared, let's go. So Pig, he does pop off, does claim it. It looks like he played Zerg, so he mained raced. Also, he played Zerg. I don't know what level his Zerg is at, but apparently it is less than 5.4K. Did choose to commit with that all the way through to win the tournament. Congratulations here to Pig. I would imagine that Zerg is his best race, but I know he's been playing like a lot of Terran, a lot of Protoss, like whenever he can to make content on YouTube as well. So I don't know if they have since exceeded his skill in Zerg. Not too certain. But regardless, congratulations to Pig. Shout out to Kinbatch for coming in second place as well. That leads us into Scarecraft. Okay, interesting. That leads us into Scarecraft here. Scarecraft is a tournament run by the Ladder Legends Academy. Okay, interesting. I do know that some of these guys, maybe all of them, are these the coaches? Are these the Ladder Legends coaches? Hold on. Let's see. No, Marcap. Okay. So these are including some of the coaches, but this is open to all those in the Ladder Legends Discord. So basically part of the community. So you have to join the Discord server, and then you can take part in the tournament. And we did have quite an array of players here. We had a lot of the regular Europeans, but also some of the other coaches as well, which I did notice with Geneva. So Geneva was there. And Cristiano, he popped off, took down Geneva 2-0, took down Nick Ranked 3-1. Looks like best of 5 semifinals. And Cristiano took down Shameless 4-7, went all the way to the ace match, best of 7 finals. Oh, that is crazy. Very intense finals there, but Cristiano did claim the win over Shameless. I think I would have favored Shameless there. Shameless, he took down Solicitus, he took down Geralt, but alas, barely went down to Cristiano. Very well done. Cristiano has been very in form as of late, and really cool to see him kind of making use of that and actually taking down some of these bigger names as well. I'm going to say bigger names. Like in my mind, Shameless is an up-and-comer, and he has been rising through the ranks, comparable to Geralt, comparable to Cristiano. And here for this tournament, Cristiano comes out on top. GG, well played, does come out on top. That leads us into the Crank Gathers Season 2. This is a big 6-team invitational. It's a team league format, I should say, pro league format. Really cool to see. 6 teams were invited: Basilisk, Shopify, Streamer Zone, Team Falcons, Team Liquid, and Team Vitality. 6 teams were invited, and we have been covering this event ourselves. We've already covered a couple of days of this event, I believe 2 days so far. We're a little bit behind schedule. By now, we should have been covering 4 days, but unfortunately, as I mentioned before, like I didn't have any time yesterday. Was my birthday, so did decide to take a day off from casting, and as a result, we did miss out on some of these broadcasts. We'll be catching up. It means it's going to take us a little bit longer to catch up with the Crank Gathers, just as a heads up. We should be done, though, by the time the next podcast comes around. For now, though, we had the preliminary stage. The preliminary stage was basically seeding matches to determine who will make it through to the playoffs and who will not. So here we had Basilisk, they took down Streamer Zone 4-0, strong showing here. Cyril took down Jumi, Trigger took down Nightmare, Cyril and Trigger took down Nightmare and SOS, and Rainer took down Geralt. Just a really strong showing there by Basilisk, one of the stronger teams in the league. That led us into Team Liquid versus Shopify. We had a closer back and forth here. We had Clem taking down Lambo, Kior took down Bian, we had Harambo, Harsum and Lambo taking down Cure and Skillus in the 2v2, and we had Harsum taking down Skillus in the 1v1. Went all the way to the ace match. Cure did once again defeat Bian for the second time in that best of 5. So Team Liquid, they barely took down Shopify. I kind of glossed over it, but yes, so this is Pro League format. It's an overall best of 5 constructed by best of 1s, where players are fielded one at a time, but there is a 2v2 section, which is really cool. Like it's been a long time since we've had 2v2 in team leagues like this. I think the last time we had it was back in Shoutcraft Clan Wars. I think that was it though. Like Shoutcraft Clan Wars, like they incorporated that. This is something that was the norm back in Brood War, but this is something that did not really translate too well into StarCraft 2. It was just dropped quite quickly. Like for whatever reason, like in StarCraft 2, the big team leagues like GSTL and like Pro League, they never really embraced 2v2 anywhere near as much. Obviously 2v2 is not as balanced as 1v1, but they never really stuck with it. They never really incorporated it, which is a bit of a shame. In modern StarCraft, I would say that 2v2 has been in a big upswing ever since last year, ever since Wardy was running his team tournaments because of the TLMC changes, because of the TLMC team like map pool that was being updated, and also Euthermal. Euthermal was a big part of that as well, running his 2v2 league, his 2v2 circuit, I should say. So 2v2 is nowadays, I would say, really popular, and a lot of the pros embrace it and play it as well. It's a bit of a shame that it's happening now, though, instead of, back in 2010 or back in in Heart of the Swarm, like 2014, 2015. So it is a bit of a shame that it's happening now instead of back then, but better late than ever. And nowadays 2v2 gets a lot more love, and really cool to see it being made use of here in this invitational. But yeah, Team Liquid took down Shopify, and of course Vitality, they went down to Team Falcons. Now, Vitality going down here, I mean, if you look at the matches, they were quite close, I will say. Like, Rogue versus Zaun could have gone either way. Rogue did take down Zaun 1-0. Bunny versus Ryung, I was leaning towards Ryung there, was quite close, so Bunny did take down Ryung 1-0. They made the 2v2, which was a lot of fun. Bunny and Rogue, they were able to survive the aggression of Maru and Ryung. Maru and Ryung, they went Proxy 4x. It was Proxy 4x Mass Reaper, and then Solo took down Maru to close it out. So not the first time, and we'll see. As Solo did take down Maru during GSL, if you recall as well, during the most recent GSL. So Vitality, they did struggle quite a bit here in the preliminary stage. And part of it, I would say, is Maru, he has been on a break. Ever since CWC, he has been. Everyone knows this. He has been on a break. He has not been playing much StarCraft, so he's rough around the edges. But I would say that I still expected more from Ryung and Zaun. Like, it's on them to carry. It's on them to carry. It's on them to show up, and they need to really, really ramp it up here to be able to perform well in the team league. Congratulations to Team Falcons. Now, all the teams are still in the tournament at this point, but that led us into the group stage. This is where teams are being eliminated and where teams are advancing on into the playoffs. So Basilisk, Team Liquid, and Team Falcons, because they won in the preliminary stage, they all got seeded into the playoffs. That led us here into the group stage, where we had a round-robin group stage. Shopify, they took down Streamer Zone 4-0. Lambo took down Nightmare. Björn took down Jumi. We had Harambo once again taking down Nightmare and SOS, and we had Harsum taking down Geralt. We had a clean 4-0 here for Shopify. That led us into Streamer Zone versus Vitality. Now, this was a surprise. Like, the Team Falcons series, like, not really, not as much. But here, this was crazy. Luna C, he kicked things off with a win over Zaun. It was very impressive, a very crazy way to start the series as well. Big win for Streamer Zone, big win for Luna C. Took down Zaun on Ruby Rook. That led us into Geralt versus Maru, where Geralt did take down Maru as well in 10,000 feet. For those who didn't watch, Maru went for a 2-base all-in. The 2-base all-in failed, and Maru, he failed to transition out. I mean, it was an all-in, so I mean, it's difficult to transition anyway. And Maru, he was just playing from behind. He was just playing from behind after failing to kill Geralt on 10,000 feet. That led us into the 2v2, Nightmare and SOS. They took down Ryung and Zaun. It was a very intense back and forth. There was a lot of banter between the players as well, between Ryung and SOS. Ryung and SOS, they were typing the entire time. There was a lot of banter going on. Nightmare and SOS, they took the win, and then Nightmare, he cleaned it up versus Ryung on Andromeda. So a very, very surprising result here. Streamer Zone, they shut down Vitality, and with that, we had the final series, of course. We had Shopify versus Vitality. Here we did have more of a back and forth. Zaun took down Lambo. Big win there for Vitality, the first win of the league. Zaun did get the win against Lambo. Björn took down Maru. That was an intense back and forth, but once again, there's less expectations for Maru nowadays. Then we had Harambo, of course. They had a crazy series against Maru and Zaun in that 2v2. That was insane. It came down to floating buildings that were sticking with the main army. I will say Maru and Zaun had the superior army composition. They had a crazy army to work with, but they were losing buildings. We were in a base trade. Harsum and Lambert, they were avoiding the main fight, sniping buildings, sniping Raxes, sniping starports. As I would say that Maru and Zaun were a little bit careless. They were careless when it came to protecting their buildings as they were rotating, so they kept just losing building after building until eventually they lost everything. They lost all of their buildings, even though they could win in the head-on fight. They never got the head-on fight. as Harsam and Lambo, they basically just kept expanding. They kept expanding in a big circle, and Maro and Zhao would be rotating in that circle as well. And as they kill a building, like another base would pop up behind them, just to make sure they could keep up with losing set expansions, and avoiding the main fight as well. It led into Ryung versus Scarlet. Ryung did take down Scarlet 1-0. This was Scarlet's return against Scarlet. I don't think she's played StarCraft in many, many months, as she has been on hiatus since EWC, so it was great to see the return of Scarlet. Scarlet does plan on competing in China. If you recall, there's going to be a big invitational. There's a big event, a show match tournament happening in China, that is going to be featuring some. The reason for it is because of the return of the Chinese server. It's like a big celebration for the Chinese server, and Scarlet is going to be one of the players invited to that event. So Scarlet's going to be there in China to be part of that show match. Scarlet, I believe, is also traveling to Stellarfest to compete in the Canadian tournament as well. So Scarlet is going to be competing in these tournaments. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why she made her return here, to start practicing, getting ready for these bigger events. Scarlet did go down to Ryung, and it came down to the ace match, Ryung versus Byun, and Byun did barely claim the win there. GG, well played. With that, Shopify, they defeated both Streamer Zone and Vitality, and Shopify do make it through into the playoffs. Streamer Zone and Vitality are knocked out of the tournament. GG. GG, well played. I also didn't really get to mention that this tournament does feature some TLMC 21 maps, even some maps that were not a part of the top 16. So really cool to see Dream and Scars also a part of this, despite not making it to that top 16. So really cool to see. Same with Gem Garden. Gem Garden's also a TLMC map as well. So they're all being made use of here. And that leads us into the playoffs, which we'll be going over next week, as we have still yet to cast them ourselves. We'll be doing so tomorrow. Doing so to catch up with those tournaments, with that casting. But again, it's really cool to see Crank hosting a team league like this again. A shout out to Chijik. Chijik, they're the main sponsor. I should have began with that. But Chijik, they're the main sponsor. Because of that, that's why none of this is casted live in English. The only way to cast it live would be on the Chijik platform, which is their own streaming platform. It is similar to Twitch, but over on Korea instead, or in Korean. So that's why no one's been casting this live. That's why we've been casting this by replays, and I think Wardy has also been casting by replays as well. So we've been doing these replay casts after the fact to catch up with these matches. And again, we'll be doing so starting tomorrow as well, getting back into it with the playoffs. We'll be getting back into it. And again, hopefully, as I mentioned this previously, I do hope that that Chijik, they find a lot of value in this. I hope that it's doing well on the Korean stream. I hope they're getting a lot of viewership. I hope they're getting a lot of attention, because if that's the case, then we might see more of this in the future. You know, even if this isn't like a season-long league, to see this every now and then, it would be a really nice treat. Everyone loves team content. I ideally do miss WTL and Pro League and GSTL and StarCraft, Shoutcraft Clan Wars, and to have this make its return, and also to have at least this every now and then as a one-off invitational, like, you know, a couple of times a year, I'd love to see it. And again, hopefully, Chijik, they do see the value of this. Hopefully, it's worth it for them, and they're able to continue to host these events on a semi-regular basis. As we mentioned before, Chijik, they previously did run and organize and sponsor Alimali for a period of time, and now they're doing this. Clearly, they see value in supporting Crank and running these tournaments and getting involved in StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Evolution. What I find that's interesting is that it feels like they're like testing the waters, and they're doing different things each time. They're like, oh, okay, what if we do like these open cups? What if we do these show matches, invitationals? What if we do these team league show matches? So it feels like they're kind of like testing the waters, trying different things, and we'll see what they stick with. We'll see what they land on. Coming into 2026, we'll see what makes a return. But here we go. That leads us into our next bit of news. That leads us into our regionals and our show matches. Up first, we do have the Japanese weekly. We have been giving a lot of praise to Boba, to Tapioca, as of late, and this time, I do see that we have a different pairing in the finals. Okay, we have Noah Shirayuki instead takes down Sayark 2-0 in the finals. We're used to seeing either Deadly Kitten, or used to seeing whether it's Deadly Kitten, whether it's Tapioca in the finals, but no, here we have a different duo. Sayark, he's been around for a very long time, has been competing for a long time as well. He's always a regular when it comes to these events, but he does go down to Shirayuki. GG, well played. Shiryuki does claim the win, at least in this weekly, in this Open Cup. GG, well played. Nicely done there by Shiryuki. That leads us into the Sunrise Cup. Sunrise Cup number 219. This is the Chinese weekly tournament. Every single week we have a Chinese tournament. And no surprises here, Nanami. Nanami Chiaki does pop off, does take down their opponents 2-0, and doesn't drop a single map. Oh my god. Typically, some of those that threaten Nanami are not here, actually. Whether it's Tsukino, whether it is... Oh god, another is kind of going over my head a little bit. Whether it's players like Triple H or players like Rewhite, Jodewa Loves, I said Potato. Potato is Young Zest. That's it, Young Zest, or some of these other up and comers. But looks like they weren't here this time. They were not here this time, and as a result, Nanami Chiaki does pop off, does claim the entire win. Very impressive play here. But again, some of the others that typically threaten Nanami, they weren't quite available. Not this week. Nanyu, right? Nanyu was the other one, and quickly checking here. Nanyu was knocked out early. Very early on, actually. Okay, a little bit surprising. Nanyu actually got knocked out early on by Shen Shen in the round of 16. Like, Nanyu, if you remember, last week went all the way to the ace match against Nanami. So we expect great things from Nanyu, but not this time. Not this week. So surprising result. Surprising result there. Nanyu got knocked out early. Congratulations to Nanami. Congratulations. That leads us into the Stardust and Starlight Twinkle Invitational 2025 October edition. Interesting. So it looks like they did host a tournament specifically for players that are on Astartes and on Starlight Twinkle. So it was a little bit more closed off towards those specific players. But it also looks like they did actually not invite their star players. And even then, Triple H, he's a Protoss player. Here he's off racing as Terran, so it looks like they did basically. This is more of like an amateur tournament, restricted to lower league players, and even some of the bigger players they off raced with a lower MMR race, I should say. And we see that with Triple H. So congratulations to Cold Seeding, taking down Lucky 2-0, taking down Haliv 2-0, and taking down his opponent in the finals 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. These are players that I'm very unfamiliar with. As I mentioned before, like, these are more amateur players. Apparently took down Imperial Jade Liquor. Okay, interesting. Sounds like a brand of maybe beer or something. Brand of alcohol. But yeah, Cold Seeding does claim the win. And again, all these players, in my mind, are more amateur players, like more up-and-coming, like Diamond players, maybe some Masters players involved as well. But it does look like this is basically more of like a community event, more of an amateur community event instead. And really cool to see that they're, hosting events like this for, not the pros, right? For players that are still competing, of course, still playing the game, enjoying the game, but aren't the best of the best. So shout out to Cold Seeding, as he is on Starlight Twinkle. That leads us into the big Chinese Team League that's been going on, the Elpis Team League 2025 Fall Edition. First, we have Code A. I feel like we're close to wrapping up. Like, we don't really have as many weeks remaining here. But Code A round 5 did conclude. So that was just round 5. We still have 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks left to conclude the round robin group stage. Here we had a Team PTB. They took down Hist and Toss, their second team, 6-0, so big win. Unfortunately, we did have a walkover in the first round. Alka took down Knight, and YKN took down his opponent as well. So congratulations to Team PTB. That leads us into the second Starlight Twinkle team, led by Xingming, takes down Rookie Warpgate 4-2. Xingming, of course, he did take his 2-0. We had some closer series between the other players. Xingming, for those who don't know, he is a GM. He's a semi-pro. I would say he's probably one of the best players in this Code A league. So best of luck to everyone else. As Starlight Twinkle looking to be one of the heavy hitters coming into this, as they've yet to drop a single series. Scrolling down, we have a Team 4 Leaf Clover, FLC. They take down their opponents 6-0. So strong showing there from 4 Leaf Clover as well. We've yet to really see too much competition against Starlight Twinkle, except for Rookie Warpgate. The Rookie Warpgate rosters have been posing a bit of a threat to Starlight Twinkle. And we'll see if they can be brought down at all in the group stage. And again, this is the Code A version, so these are more like up-and-coming, like amateur teams and amateur players. That leads us into the Code into the Code S edition. Hold on. Okay. That leads us into the Code S edition. Also, round 5 did wrap up. Here we have the bigger teams. Here we had Toho Project. Toho Project, they take down Astartes 5-1. Daydreamer wins his match, and his other teammates, of course, did end up taking their series as well. So strong showing there by Toho Project. Solid Twinkle, they defeat Team Hist 4-3. This was a very close series. Hist are another one of these teams that do have some heavy hitters. They have Kingslayer. Like, in my mind, Kingslayer, he's one of the stronger Terran players in China. Jolo loves a number. They go back and forth, 1-1. Triple H goes up against Kingslayer. Kingslayer does defeat Triple H. Big win there for Kingslayer. Young Zest takes down TATP 2-0. And then we have the Ace match. The final game, Jollywa Loves versus Kingslayer. I'm surprised they picked Jollywa. In my eyes, the ace player for Solid Twinkle is Young Zest. Like, Young Zest, like, he's very strong, he's very accomplished. I would say he's stronger than Triple H, stronger than Rewhite, stronger than Jollywa, but they believed in Jollywa in that ace match, and hey, he beat Kingslayer. Maybe a bit of a sniper build as well. Like, the ace player for Team Hist is Kingslayer, 100%. We've covered him before, especially in the regionals, of course, in the EPT regionals, and Jollywa does bring it down. Congratulations to Starlight Twinkle. That leads us into Team Little Fairy versus Team Elpis. Oh, some surprising results here. Ear and Miggy get tied 1-1. Ghost Runner and Restart also tied 1-1. And coming into the third match, this should have been a clean sweep for Shameless. Like, Shameless, he's a strong player in Europe. Like, he's one of the best Protoss players up there or out there. He's like top 10, maybe top 8, maybe top 6. Like he's one of the best Protoss players in Europe. He's an up-and-comer. We expect great things for him. Previously, we saw him go down to Cristiano, but 4-3, went all the way to Game 7. He is favored against Oriana. I have to know what happened there. I have to know what happened in those matches. Oriana, he's a great player himself, don't get me wrong, but there is a skill gap between Oriana and Shameless. In my eyes, Oriana, he must have all-in every game. He pulled like a Hon Mono to knock him out. That's a crazy result, a crazy upset. Little Fairy, they have Shameless. Shameless, he's the highest rated player in the entire league. He is meant to be spearheading his team. Not this time. Not against Oriana. GG. GG, well played. As that leads us into... Oh, hello?
You are fine now, but you are roboting every now and then.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, all good. Did you hear everything?
Yeah. Like, it didn't cut out. It didn't cut out, but sometimes it does get very roboty every now and then.
Okay. All good. But yes. So Team Elpis, they were able to pull it off here against Team Little Fairy. Very surprising, crazy upsets. That leads us into PCEC. PCEC up against Kauda. PCEC, they get the win 4-2. More unknown players in my eyes here. I would have been favoring Kauda, so big win there for PCEC as well. And again, there's only 2 weeks left. Only 2 weeks left for our tournament. Oriana, yes. Oriana, if you haven't seen him, Oriana, he's I would say Kingslayer is a higher rated player than Oriana. Oriana, he used to compete regularly in our tournaments in the Grand Platypus Open, and in Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. But Oriana, he's very active when it comes to the Sunrise Cups. But nowadays he mainly only plays regional tournaments. It's quite rare to see him play in our tournaments anymore, or in the Wardy TV Mondays, for example, as well. So Oriana, he's been a little bit less active outside of these regional events, so I don't really expect as much from him nowadays, which is why it is a big upset to see him bring down Shameless. Nicely done, nonetheless. It's nicely done. Like, I don't know, like maybe like a regional comparison to Oriana is like Moja in Europe, right? Like, if Moja defeated Shameless, I'd be like, yo, that's crazy. But also Moja's a good player as well. Like they're good players in their own right. Yeah, like having this big power spike and bringing down Shameless, it's impressive. It's impressive. Definitely noteworthy. GG, well played. And again, another 2 weeks, and we'll be wrapping up the group stage. We'll get there. That leads us into the OC events. That leads us into our OC tournaments. The OC 2025 mid-season playoffs number 2 did take place this week. I believe the lower bracket has been progressing very slowly here, has been progressing. Let's have a look at what's been happening. Hold on. Only a handful of matches. Okay, only a handful of matches here. We did have Skilless versus Goblin. Skilless takes down Goblin 3-1 to advance on to the lower bracket to round 3. Shout out to Goblin for taking a map there. Again, I was still very disappointed to see that Lemon was not a part of that series, did not compete against Goblin. That would have been a crazy back and forth, but no Lemon in the lower bracket round 1. That also leads us into Spirit versus GG Machine. Spirit takes down GG Machine 3-0. Spirit, he has been on a tear. Spirit took down Creator, took down GG Machine. Spirit is looking in form again. We were praising Spirit for performing well in Wardy's tournament not too long ago, where Spirit, he came out first in his group. Crazy result out of Spirit. And again, that run continues here, and we're expecting great things out of Spirit to continue in this lower bracket. So best of luck to Geralt, as going to be facing off soon. And then we have Björn versus Max Pack. That also did conclude. Solo was waiting in the winner bracket finals. Max Pack and Björn, that went all the way to the ace match. All the way to the ace match. Crazy back and forth. Björn, he kicked things off up 2-0. And then we had Max Packs winning 3 games in a row. So congratulations, Max Pack. He barely wins against Björn, up against Solar in the winner bracket finals. When it comes to the lower bracket, there's still a lot to go through. There's still a lot of matches remaining, of course. So best of luck to all the players involved. There's a lot of really exciting matches to come as well. We have Christiana versus Trigger, Hearthstone versus Skilless. That's going to be a rematch from their Team League match. Chan versus Ryung. You know, we still have Kira and Björn down here. Spirit, of course, has been in form. Best of luck. Best of luck to everyone involved. It's still going to take a couple of weeks, but eventually we'll be wrapping up this tournament as well. Eventually. Towards the end of November, coming into December. That leads us into the OSC Weeklies, the OSC King of the Hill Weekly number 228. This was covered by Wardy. Wardy has been a little bit more available as of late, so Wardy did cover both weeks of OSC. When it comes to this weekly, we did have Geralt. Geralt and Baby Marine, they did kick things off. Geralt did defeat Baby Marine 1-0, defeated Ledlix 1-0, but did fall to Young Yakov. Young Yakov, he has been in form as of late. He has been getting some more impressive results. Takes down Geralt, takes down Mana, takes down Mixu, but he does fall to Percival. A little bit short-lived, as Percival takes down Young Yakov and he falls instantly to Solar, and Solar, he goes on a crazy win streak and no one does stop him. Solar takes down Percival, Rebellion, Jimmy, Demi, Nickrat, Creator, Art, Christiana, and Lambo. Lambo is a fresh face here. Lambo, he often does not compete in the OSC tournaments, so really cool to see Lambo actually competing and taking part this time. Often we do see Björn, players like Björn or even Nightmare. They're the kind of players that typically stand in the way of like someone like Solar that can bring him down. Max comes to mind, Spirit comes to mind, but the players that I just mentioned, not this week. They weren't here. They were not here. Solar, he was able to go on a tear. Congratulations. Solar, he does walk away with the majority of the prize money. Again, every single win does give you extra prize money, of course. There's a bounty on your head after a while, and you get a bonus if you can be the one that can stop a big win streak, but no one did stop Solar. No one did stop him, and as a result, he is invited to be the starting player for the next week, but he actually declined said invite. He was not available, and we had Shin. Shin is another player that is often not competing in these, so really cool to see Shin taking part in OSC King of the Hill Weekly 229. So Shinny does start off, takes down Euthermal 1-0, takes down Geralt, takes down Baby Marine, takes down Sebestus, and hey, it's almost like we know who's in form right now. We were giving a lot of praise to Spirit earlier, talking about high expectations in that OSC tournament because of how well has been performing as of late, and that is further exemplified here. Spirit pops off, takes down Shin, takes down Lilix, Night Phoenix, Mixu, Christiana, Demi, Percival, Nickrat, Young Yakov, Eba, Creator as well. Spirit, he goes on a crazy win streak, and again, this further solidifies what we've been saying, that Spirit has been very in form as of late, emphasized by his performance in the group stage of Wardy's tournament not too long ago. Spirit, for whatever reason, post EWC, he's locking in. For whatever reason, in recent times, in recent weeks, he is locking in, he's actually improving, getting better results, and yeah, it's a crazy time to be like spiking in skill. it's interesting that now is the time when Spirit's popping off instead of earlier in the year. But I will say that right now Spirit is looking better than he has all year long, 100%. As he's had a lackluster 2025. compared to 2024. Like 2024, like Spirit Heel's popping off. But again, he had a bit of a rough start to the year, rough lead up into EWC, but in recent weeks has been looking very strong. That leads us into our Open Cups, into our Open tournaments here. Up first, we do have the Platinum StarCraft League, October 2025. This is a monthly tournaments. We were fortunate enough to be the main casters for this event, as it did take place. And here we had Percival. He took down Lelix 2-0, took down Christiana 2-1. It was a close back and forth between Percival and Christiana. Percival took down Nickrat 3-0 and took down Shameless 3-1 in the grand finals. So congratulations to Percival, staying very late up into the night. It was not a good time for Korea. Not a good time slot for Koreans. But Percival, he had a crazy run, crazy performance. Shameless likewise. Shameless took down Jumi 2-1, took down Geralt 3-1, but did fall to Percival in those finals. Percival, he of course has a much more aggressive style of TVP, was very in the face of Shameless, and was able to shut him down early on. GG will play. Congratulations to Percival for claiming this month's Platinum StarCraft League tournament. That leads us into the Sparkling Tuna Cup October Finals. Here we go. Again, for our Tuna Cups for the rest of the year, we do have our regular weeklies, but that leads into the monthly finals. And for this month, we had the October Finals. Unfortunately, no Zerg. No Zerg players were involved, unfortunately. But that's what we expect out of these Open Cups. Pure Protoss, pure Terran, and we had a crazy performance out of Creator. Creator had a really impressive run. Beyond took down Percival 2-0. Creator took down Bunny 2-0. Cristiano took down Nickrat, and Hero took down Geralt. So we did have a back and forth between Hero and Geralt. But again, Creator taking down Bunny was an impressive result, and he 2-0'd Beyond in the semis. It was a really fast series, I will say that, where he took down Beyond 2-0 as well. And Creator had a crazy performance in the finals, taking down Hero 3-1 as well. It was also a bit of a shorter series. We had some mid-game as well in some of those games, don't get me wrong. But Creator, he had a really strong showing, takes down Bunny, Beyond, and Hero. Very impressive performance here by Creator. Very well done. Very well done. Hero, he had a bit of a rocky performance, did bleed against Hero, against Christiana, and of course against Creator as well. Hero came in as the highest rated player, but Creator, he was able to shut him down and prove that, hey, he can take it to the best of them as well, of course. So congratulations to Creator, is this month's Tuna Cup champion. Congratulations for the month of October. That leads us into the Wardy TV Monday. Wardy TV Monday number 57. Here, likewise, we did have Clem popping off, Max Pax as well as what we expect. Clem takes down Percival 2-0, takes down Creator 2-0, and does face off against Max Pax in the grand finals. Max Pax, he had nothing but PvPs, took down Rebellion, took down Geralt, took down Hero, went to the ace match, and Clem did defeat Max Pax in the grand finals 3-1. GG, well played. Shout out to Hero for defeating Solar, or I guess shout out to Solar. Solar, he also had a decent performance making it to the quarterfinals, but did fall to Hero early on. No shame in that, no shame in going down to Hero, as he eventually did fall to Max Pax in the semis. So congratulations to Clem for winning this week's Wardy TV Monday. That leads us into the Monday Night Weeklies number 28. I should also emphasize that we do cast the Wardy TV Mondays, but specifically because of daylight savings that just took place, Wardy TV Monday starts really late here. Now it starts really late in Australia, so most likely we will stop casting it live and start casting it via replays instead. Just as a heads up for the future of Wardy TV Mondays, and it being here on the CranKy Ducklings. But that leads us into the Monday Night Weeklies. That was later on that evening, of course. Clem, he was just the champion of the Wardy TV Monday, and here he does go for the back-to-back win. Takes down Shameless 2-0, takes down Solar 2-1, takes down Max Pax in the upper bracket, and it takes down Max Pax once again. Doesn't drop a single Mac. Clem, he 2-0s Max Pax, and he 3-0s Max Pax in the finals. Very impressive run here by Clem. Crazy performance. GG well played. When it comes to some of the upsets that did occur here, I will say that Percival defeating Hero in the upper bracket. That is very impressive as well. Percival, he popped off, took down Hero, and Hero, he got knocked out by GG Machine. Oh my god. GG Machine, the unsung hero, he takes down Shameless, he takes down Percival, he takes down Hero. He went on a crazy, I mean, these are best of one, so it matters a little bit less, it means a little bit less, but regardless, very impressive play there by GG Machine. The best performing Zerg player of the tournament walks away with a bonus with 25 USD. So nice bonus there for GG Machine. But congratulations to Clem for only dropping a map to Solar. GG. GG, well played. That leads us into the Pigazor Cup. Pigazor Cup number 55. Unfortunately, no Clem here. There's no Clem in sight. There's no Clem to threaten MaxPax. So MaxPax has stayed up all night long, playing in all three tournaments. Takes down Milky Cow, takes down Percival, and does take down Beyond in the grand finals. Beyond, he did take a map, but did go down in the end. When it comes to these big upsets here, I will say that Nicaract, he took down Creator 2-1. As I keep saying, Nicaract, he has some really killer, specifically TVP. I would say that's his best matchup. His best matchup because he can cause the most upsets in that matchup as well. Takes down Creator. So very impressive stuff here. I mean, we've seen Nicaract take down MaxPax. We've seen him take down Hero. If you can beat MaxPax, if you can beat Hero, you can beat anyone. So here he takes down Creator. Crazy upset. GG. GG here for Nicaract. Does fall in the end, but he had a really strong run to make it that far. Likewise, Mixu also took a map off of Beyond as well. So we did have some notable performances there, or notable results from some lesser players. So GG. GG well played. In the end, MaxPax, of course, does beat Beyond 3-1. That leads us into the Wardy TV October 2025 tournament here. We do have our group stage. Our group stage to take place first, and this is something that just wrapped up as well only a couple of days ago. Coming into Group A. Group A, we had Hero, Gumiho, Nightmare, and Rex. If you remember, I believe we did have predictions. I think the groups are already finalized, and we did predict the groups last week. Here, I think our assumption was that here, I think I went Hero and Nightmare. I think I was like, Gumiho is looking a little bit shaky. I'll stick with the double Protoss. Never mind. Nightmare doesn't make it through, and Gumiho does. Very exciting, very fun to see some more Gumiho action in the tournament. Gumiho did defeat Nightmare 2-0 to make it through this event, to make it through the group. So shout out to Hero and Gumiho for making it through Group A. Group B, we went for, I think I went for Spirit and, did I go Spirit and Cure or Spirit and Rogue? I went for, I remember that I'm on the, of course, I'm on the Spirit hype train right now. So I went for Spirit and someone. But I can't quite recall exactly who alongside him. It might have been Rogue, just because Cure's been playing less. But Rogue and Spirit do make it through. Cristiano and Cure, they barely do not, just barely. Rogue did take down Spirit, did take down Cure, but lost to Cristiano. Oh, crazy. Cristiano did defeat Rogue. Cure, he lost to Rogue, of course, he lost to Spirit, and Spirit did defeat both Cure and Cristiano, but lost to Rogue. So again, very close group, very close, very clutch, very intense. That leads us into Group C. Group C, we had Solar, Young Yakov, Shameless, and Mana. Did I go? I know that I went Solar for one of them. Did I go Solar and Mana? I remember I had a really hard time voting against Mana because it's Mana. Like, you can never count him out. I was not expecting him to come out in first place out of the group, though, so very impressive. I might have said Solar and Young Yakov. I might have gone double Zerg on this one. Yeah, I think I might have had some faith in Young Yakov, but alas, did not come to pass here. He had a close series against Shameless. Yakov, he took down Mana, but he did fall to Solar. Meanwhile, Solar, he took down Shameless, took down Young Yakov, but he actually fell to Mana. Yeah, Mana beat Solar. Let's go. Mana beat Solar. Mana, he beat Shameless. Mana did fall to Young Yakov. Just like Group B, really close group. Really close group. It was very close, very clutch. Could have gone either way. That leads us into Group D. Group D, I think I had a hard time predicting. Like, Beyond, he was going to be coming out, of course, but I had a hard time between Geralt, Nicaract, and Mixu. I think I might have gone Beyond and Nicaract. I think I might have had faith in Nicaract's TVP to defeat Geralt. But that's what I feel like it would have come down to, like Nicaract versus Geralt. Nicaract did take a map off of Geralt, but did not win the series. Geralt, he brought him down, and Beyond and Geralt do make it through Group D. GG. GG well played. With that, we have our confirmed quarterfinals. We have Mana versus Geralt, Rogue versus Gumiho, Beyond versus Spirit, and Hero versus Solar. Who seeded this bracket? What? Hero versus Solar in the first round? That is crazy. Ay. Two players that can go far in this tournament, but they have to knock each other out. They have to knock each other out early on. That is brutal. Coming into this, I think I lean towards Rogue making it to the finals. I can see Rogue defeating Gumiho, and I can see him beating both Mana and Geralt as well. I do feel like not like I can definitely see some other people threatening Rogue, but I would say that the lower half of the bracket is stacked. Like I can see Beyond beating Rogue, Spirit beating Rogue, Hero and Solar. Like all four of those players can threaten Rogue, but they're all on their own. Like they're all in their own half. So I do think that this is a bit of an easier half of the bracket for Rogue, with Gumiho, Mana, and Geralt. But we'll see. We'll see. Like right now, I also don't really have too much faith in Gumiho just because he has been less active, has been playing less tournaments, and he has been suffering as a result when it comes to his tournament results. Like his results have been getting weaker and weaker in recent months just because he has been less active. So best of luck. Best of luck to Gumiho, of course. Best of luck to Mana and Geralt as they face up against Rogue in that upper bracket. Again, when it comes to the lower portion of the bracket, it's very stacked. Beyond, Spirit, Hero, Solar. It's hard to kind of pick and choose between all of them here. Best of luck. Best of luck to everyone involved. This will be taking place over the next couple of days. November 1st and October 31st, so tomorrow. Starting tomorrow and leading into the rest of the weekend next week for the next week's podcast, we'll have our results coming in. We'll have those results. Can we make a matchup prediction for the finals? I mean, it's hard to... Like, I feel like Rogue is going to make it to the finals. When it comes to the lower bracket, it's hard to call. Hero's been looking shaky. Like I can see Hero or Solar winning that series, either one. I think I would say whoever wins between Hero and Solar will make it to the finals, and whoever wins between Hero and Solar and whoever makes it to the finals, I think they win the tournament. I think I think I'll go that far. I think I'll say whoever wins between Hero and Solar will win the whole thing. That's in my mind, at least. I can see both Hero and Solar being favored against Rogue, being favored against Gumiho, being favored against Beyond, being favored against Spirit. Of course, how could you bet against Spirit? He's been crazy this month. True. Like Spirit, he's been looking very insane. And of course, like, no disrespect to Beyond either. Like Beyond's a really good player as well, 100%. Like I can see Beyond beating Hero. I can see him beating Solar. But yeah, that's what I'll say for now. I'll say whoever wins between Hero and Solo wins the entire thing. But best of luck. Best of luck to everyone involved. Best of luck. But with that, thanks for watching. With that, I believe that is going to be our final... Oh, no, sorry. How could I forget the RSL? Oh, my God. The RSL... Oh, right, the qualifiers. The qualifiers for this week, we did actually cover most of this, except for the European qualifier. And we have our confirmed players making it into the main event. Now, for those that don't remember, we had 3 seasons. 3 seasons of RSL this year. This is the final season of 2025, and this is leading into the final, the offline finals. We already spoke about the tickets. We already spoke about the tickets at the start of the podcast, how tickets are now live. You can purchase them yourselves if you happen to be in Korea to go to the offline finals, but we still have to confirm who will be at the offline finals with Season 3. First things first, we had the Americas server qualifier. As a reminder, it was a server qualifier, not a region locked qualifier, so anyone could play. This was played by the Koreans, of course, and we had Hero. Hero takes down Medic Jr. 2-0, takes down Rebellion 2-0, and takes down Percival 3-0. Strong, clean sweep out of Hero. He does qualify for the RSL. Scrolling down, we had Bunny. Now, I will say, we casted this series. If you missed it, I highly recommend it. Bunny versus Foxer. Foxer almost won 2-1. Like, Foxer, he was ahead, he was winning. He almost won 2-0, actually. Like, Foxer, he had a crazy result here. He was performing in a crazy fashion. It looked like nerves kicked in. Foxer, he was miles ahead from Bunny, and he was making mistakes. Foxer, he was making mistakes. He was making some micro mistakes, some macro mistakes. Like, he was slipping up. Like, it did look like nerves were getting to him just because he was looking so ahead against Bunny, and Bunny clawed his way back into it. I feel for Foxer. Like, Foxer, he deserved to have won that series. And in doing so, would he have qualified potentially? Like, Foxer was looking very impressive, and he was on fire against Bunny, but as I mentioned, like maybe some inexperience or just nerves hitting at the wrong moment. Bunny did recover against Foxer, and Bunny did qualify for RSL. So Hero and Bunny, they make it through the Americas qualifier. That leads us into the Korean qualifier. The Korean qualifier here, the server qualifier, we had Solar. Solar takes down Rex 2-1, takes down Ryung 3-2. This also reminds me a little bit of the previous series. Ryung, he was looking so good against Solar, and I can see Ryung I say easily. I can see Ryung beating Solar and advancing on instead of Solar as well. But Ryung was so greedy. He was insanely greedy on Maganatha and on Torches. Ryung was up 2-1. And what happened? Scatting. Lack of scatting, more importantly. Ryung, he was cutting corners, was being greedy. He was unable to confirm that Soul was going all in. Soul, he went for 2 all-ins back-to-back on Maganatha and on Torches. And Soul, he avoided the mid-game. He avoided the late game. That's where Ryung was looking more dominant. Ryung was cutting corners. Ryung was getting greedy. And Solar did punish Ryung with non-stop all-ins. With that Solar, he was able to take down Ryung at 3-2, but again, I can easily see a world where Ryung could have beaten Solar instead. So it was very close, very clutch. Congratulations to Solar. That leads us into the final qualifying match between Creator and Percival. Here, Gumiho did fall to Percival. This goes in line as to why I didn't think too highly of Gumiho's performance in the War DTV October tournament. Here, he goes down to Percival 2-0. Again, Gumiho has been having some rougher results as of late. He's been struggling a little bit more as well, as he has been out of practice. But Creator does take down Percival 3-1 to qualify for the RSL. That leads us into the European qualifiers. We have the European qualifiers here. Max takes down Rex 2-0. Max takes down Young Yakov 3-1. Now, I don't know if Max is allowed to play. If you remember, one of the things about Max is that, or one of the things about RSL is that it leads into an offline finals. If Max cannot play in that, I don't know if he'll be able to compete. So I'm a little bit on the fence as to what's going to happen with Max, but he does take down Young Yakov. He does technically qualify for the event. We'll see if that goes through. In the past, Max has had to forfeit because he cannot take part in offline portions. Geralt takes down Lelix. Geralt takes down Percival 3-1. Big win there for Geralt. Congratulations. We have Max and Geralt making it through into the main event. So GG well played. With that, let's quickly head on over to the main events and go over all the players competing. So we have players making it through from the previous season. So we have 7 Protoss in total, 4 Terran and 3 Zerg. We have Classic, Trigger, Zaun making it through from Season 2. We had Björn, Cure, and Maru making it through from Season 2 for Terran, and we had Raynor and Shin also advancing on from the previous season. Meanwhile, when it comes to the qualifiers, we had Hero, Creator, Geralt, and Max. We had our 4 Protoss, we had Bunny, our 1 Terran, and we had Solar, our 1 Zerg. So that does wrap up our entire player base, making it through from the seeding, from the qualifiers, but we have 2 players left to be determined from the fan vote. If you remember, we spoke about this, but currently voting is open. Voting is open for Patreon. So you have to be a part of the Patreon, you have to be a member of the Patreon of RSL, and you can vote on who you want to be a part of this tournament. Now, your voting is limited to players that competed, to players that actually signed up and competed in the qualifiers. So we're going to be limited to, let's see here, we have as options Percival, true. Percival, he's going to be an option. Players like Rebellion, Foxer as well. Shameless, Young Yakov, true. They're also going to be options. SOS, Nightmare. I can see SOS getting a slot. Like, SOS has a lot of star power. SOS has a big fan base. I can see SOS winning the fan vote. Yeah, 100%. So I can see that happening. Who else would be options like Nicaract, Lelix, Rex as well? Because it's just it's going to be a popularity contest. I can see SOS garnering a lot of votes, and I'm hoping for, like, personally, I would love to see Ryung. Like, I would love, like, Ryung, he deserves to be there. Like, I feel like Ryung deserves to be there. I feel like Foxer kind of, like, deserves to be there as well. But Foxer doesn't really have as many fans. Ryung, I can see him winning the fan vote. Nightmare is the other big option as well. I'm gonna lean towards SOS and Ryung, but I can see Nightmare winning. I can see him winning the fan vote as well, instead of Ryung. It's gonna be close. I think SOS is almost a sure thing. I think it's almost a sure thing to be voted in. Again, just because he had a fun, unique playstyle. Nowadays, less so. If you've been watching SOS, he's been very tame, very macro oriented. Back in the day, he used to be very chaotic, and he used to have a lot of wins. And I feel like a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for SOS. So I can see SOS winning this relatively easily. Who joins him, whether it's going to be Ryung or Nightmare or Percival, has to be determined. I Ryung has a little bit more star power than Nightmare and Percival. A little bit more, but we'll see. We shall see. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the players that are being voted upon. Best of luck. As voting does conclude soon. That leads us into the group stage and then into the playoffs thereafter. We will be casting the playoffs, not the group stage. We'll be co-streaming, most likely. We'll be co-streaming once again. But otherwise, with that is going to be wrapping up our coverage for this week's tournaments. If you want to take part in some of these tournaments, you can do so via the sign-up list. We do have a sign-up list, !sign-up list in the chat. We'll sign up. We do have plenty of events that are taking place. This weekend is the SE for All tournament. This weekend is going to be SE for All. Again, we do have the big offline event happening over in the Americas over in Philadelphia that Cheesedelphia have partnered with. So shout out to the SE Historian for running the event. And again, it is going to be a 2-day event as well. We have 2 days of SE for All, StarCraft 2, and Brood War. It's going to be intense. We'll do our best to be a part of that as well. Likewise, we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup that's also going to be pushed. I believe this week it is not going to be on Sunday. Yes, we're pushing it to Tuesday instead, so bear that in mind. But Tuna Cup is going to be over on Tuesday. The reasoning for this is, of course, because of SC for All. SC for All is going to take up the entire weekend, so that's going to be where our attention lies. That also means that we have less time to focus, or we just won't be able to cover the Tuna Cup over that weekend. That's why it's pushed to Tuesday instead. We also have the TV Mondays, Monday Night Weeklies, Pegasus Cup, all the regular open tournaments. KSL is going to be next week, the Korean StarCraft League, and also our amateur tournaments are also available for signups as well. So plenty of tournaments throughout the course of the week are all coming up. You can take part of that. You can see that yourselves, as of course there are those like important and those like related links available alongside a countdown timer to the event as well. That leads us into the Patreon. If you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, we have our Patreon. The Patreon does help fund our tournaments. It helps fund the Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Masters 1 Open as well. All of our tournaments are funded via the Patreon, and you can help us grow the events through Patreon as well to boost the prize pool and to eventually unlock monthly tournaments. Right now we're running monthlies, but only until the end of the year. Then after that comes down to our Patreon, comes down to the support that we're getting. So if you want to help us, if you want to help support tournaments, players, the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via our Patreon. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, a bit of a shorter podcast this week, but still a lot of news to go through and still a lot of importance as well, especially when it comes to the miniatures game, when it comes to the tournament results as well. Every single week we're here with our wrap-up show, of course, with the PondCast. And our next cast should be tomorrow morning with the Crank Gathers Playoffs Day number 1. I emphasize it should be. It's going to be in around 12 hours. Around 12 hours time, hopefully I'm going to be there. Hopefully we're going to be able to catch up on the replays of the Crank Gathers. We'll be slowly catching up with that. And I believe it's going to be a double cast in the sense that the morning we cast day 1, and the evening we cast day number 2, and then that leads into the SE for All throughout the weekend. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to support us, you can also do so via the links in the chat. !socials. You'll get a link to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we do stream on a daily basis, or you do upload on a daily basis. So plenty of content on YouTube. Likewise, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. You can also, again, donate if you wish. We get like donates every couple of months, or donations every couple of months if you wish to support us that way. Otherwise, thank you. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more Crank Gathers Team League. We'll see you then. Till then, ciao. Bye, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.